ceremony for the 177th graduating class of Gould Academy, the class of 2013. It is my personal pleasure to note that this is my first graduating class from Gould Academy. Yahoo! Before Reverend Rickman comes up for the invocation, I would like to thank her. This will be her last invocation at Gould Academy. Ginger has been supporting Gould spiritually since she came to serve in the West Parish Congregational Church in 2004. Thank you, Ginger.
Bidden or unbidden, the Spirit of truth is here. Too bright for human eyes, too hot for human minds, too quick for human fingers to hold. Even now, the Spirit of truth is burning through our meager knowledge, evaporating security, refining the wisdom entrusted to us. Spirit of truth, bless this day to our living. Called or not called, the Spirit of peace is here too. Quiet for human ears, too subtle for human taste, too elusive for human arms to embrace. Yet right now the Spirit of peace is pursuing us, breathing freedom down our backs, laughing at pretensions, shredding all our excuses for holding back. Spirit of peace, bless this day to our becoming. Summoned or not summoned, the Spirit of life is here. Too salty for human throats, too strong for human hands, too deep for human hearts to fathom. Still at this very moment, the Spirit of life is washing over us, polishing our rough love, tumbling our fears, rounding off the edges of our excess. Spirit of life, bless this day to our serving each other and you. Amen. Amen. You may be seated.
At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Wendy Henley, President of the Gould Academy Board of Trustees.
Good morning, families, students, faculty, staff, friends, and the great Gould class of 2013. It is my pleasure today to introduce our commencement speaker, Linda Greenlaw. Ms. Greenlaw is a strong woman of many talents. Raised in Maine and a summer resident of Idaho, where she now resides, she is someone who has followed her heart all of her life. This has led her to being called, and I quote, one of the best fishing captains on the entire East Coast. It has led her to being a New York Times best-selling author, to starring in the Discovery Channel's award-winning series Swords, Life on the Line, and to being the go-to member of an extraordinary community. I hope many of you remember Mr. Ruby's opening assembly this past fall, when he shared his first love of something, not a person, a thing. He asked you to recall your first moment with love. Linda first stepped onto a commercial fishing boat deck, the Sight, at the age of 19, and promptly fell in love. During her years at Colby, where she graduated with a major in English and government, you might wonder, fishing boat captain, English and government, she spent her summers working as a deckhand on the Walter Lehman, a commercial sword fishing boat. In 1986, she was named captain of the same vessel. In 1992, she survived what many of you know as the perfect storm, a title made famous by author Sebastian Junger's book and its adapted movie. But the real challenges of her life have not occurred on the boat or at sea. The real challenges, and I believe this is true for each of us, are those of relationships, the hard stuff, the stuff that needs to be said. As I read her latest book, Life-Saving Lessons, Notes from an Accidental Mother, it opened a window into Linda's heart that resonated with me. The book explains her relationship in Gould, it's part of it, as an accidental mother of a 2010 graduate. You're going to have to read the book to get the rest of the story. This is what I have gleaned about Linda's books. She'll tell you whether it's accurate or not. Live honestly and with humility and humanity. Follow your heart. Fail. Learn the lesson and get right back into it. Take risks, both calculated and leaps of faith. And finally, hold fast to your friends. And they might not always be who you expected them to be. Each of these experiences is also a hallmark of your time at Gould. So please join me in welcoming Linda Greenlaw back to Gould.
People who recognize the name Linda Greenlaw as that woman who survived the perfect storm generally regard me as fearless, courageous, leader of men. And they look at me funny when I complain about the weather. So I won't bother doing that today, but I will tell you that I spent a lot of time last night praying for this to be the storm it was supposed to be and kind of canceled today, primarily because speaking, the commencement addresses are way outside of my comfort zone. In spite of that, I have been able to convince myself that I have a huge advantage over other speakers and presenters in that my audience does regard me as a commercial fisherman. And because of that, the expectations are really low. That's okay. Low expectations give me a little bit of comfort up here, so I appreciate it. I suppose what I am most nervous about is the possibility of joining the endless list of nameless, faceless commencement speakers. I don't remember who spoke at my high school graduation. I do not recall who spoke at my college graduation. So last night in a panic, I called my younger sister and was disappointed to learn that she didn't remember either of her speakers either. And so I had this huge anxiety about this talk, and she said, well, what she remembered of her commencement address was this. Wah, wah, wah. Hard work. Wah, wah, wah. Bright futures. Wah, 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 wah. Congratulations. When I explained that I didn't want to become one of the wah, wah, wahs, she suggested that I drop a couple of F-bombs. And while that would probably leave a lasting impression, I don't really want to be remembered for my salty language. And probably wouldn't be invited back, which would be the worst thing. But I'll try to refrain from that. I don't think I probably need to explain this, but I will. Commercial fishing not only is the oldest profession in the world, perhaps with the exception of prostitution. And it is also tops the list of the most dangerous professions. It always has and probably always will. So I've been engaged in a very dangerous profession. I think commercial fishing is probably the most literal and physical example of risk-reward. And so I've engaged in this dangerous occupation since I was 19 years old. Does that mean I'm fearless? Absolutely not. And I would like to confide in you my greatest fear. My greatest fear is that of failure. The fear of failure is interesting because it either pushes you or it shuts you down. I have to overcome my fear of failure every single day, or I am paralyzed with a fear of making a mistake. I have certainly made my share of mistakes. Yes, you learn from your mistakes, you move on. I repeat a lot of my mistakes. It probably means I'm a slow learner. I'm okay with that. Probably have to look at my notes for a second. Sorry. Yes, in his book, The Perfect Storm by Sebastian Junger, he does refer to me in very glowing terms, and I quote, "The Hannah Bowden is skippered by a Colby College graduate named Linda Greenlaw. Not only is Greenlaw one of the only women in the business, she's one of the best captains, period, on the entire East Coast. Year after year, trip after trip, she makes more money than anyone. When the Hannah Bowden unloads her fish in Gloucester, swordfish prices plummet halfway around the world. I love that part. Pretty tough image for me to live up to, but I'm here to tell you that I didn't start off as the best captain, period, on the entire East Coast. In fact, quite the opposite is true. The first boat I captained was named the Gloria Dawn, and I still think back to those days as that GD boat. I didn't impress anyone with my ability to put fish on the deck. I did impress everyone, including the owner of the boat, with my ability to return to the dock every trip. In fact, he always looked surprised, and that's not right. I worked hard, obviously, mostly just to keep the boat afloat. I mean, the boat was a real wreck. Among other problems, there was a stray current in the boat, so anytime my crew members and I, sort of would touch some random piece of metal, we might get a shock. I complained to the owner, and he said, "Toughen up, it's only 12 volts. And sadly, I fished the boat for 3 years in that condition, which puts me somewhere below Pavlov's dog in the whole scheme of things. So yeah, get back on the horse when things aren't good. Okay, to get down to business, I'd like to share some of my beliefs with you, and these are beliefs that I have developed through education. And I think of education in two ways. I think of formal education, and then I think of incidental education. My formal education, public high school in Maine, and Colby College. My incidental education or informal education I think of as the things I learned on the deck of a boat. We'll start at the beginning. I was raised on and off the coast of Maine, where boats and fishing are the way of life. I spent my early childhood trying to catch anything that swam or crawled around the shores surrounding my home. When I was at an age where kids learned to ride bikes, I learned how to row. When 10-speed bikes were all the rage, I had my very first 10-horse outboard. At the age of 19, I needed money for college. I stepped aboard a commercial sword boat, headed offshore for my first 30-day adventure, and I did fall in love with my life. I fished my way through college. Back then I said I was fishing for tuition, and graduated, and much to my parents' dismay, I took my college degree offshore and started my career as a commercial sword boat captain. It was then that I received the worst advice of my life, and that was from my mother. She said yes, and some of you will get this advice from your parents someday, and that was her opinion that I was wasting my education. She told me I was wasting my education. Commercial fishing is no place for an educated young person. You need to get a real job. I'm here today to tell you, education is never wasted. It's impossible. Your education becomes you. I use every bit of my education every single day, whether I'm fishing or writing or just hanging out with my friends. What you have accomplished is yours. It can't be wasted. It cannot be squandered. No one can take it away. So, number one is education can never be wasted. Number two, don't be nervous, I only have 5. Number 2, and these aren't in any particular order. I believe that opportunity is the single most important word in the English language. I particularly like the phrase, opportunity knocks. Opportunity knocks, it doesn't let itself in, you have to answer the door. That's where the hard work comes in for those of you who might be like me, lacking any God-given talent or trust funds. You have to answer the door to opportunity, and that's where the hard work comes in. 3, I believe that I am the reincarnation of Henry David Thoreau. It's a little weird, but get to know me. Henry David Thoreau said, "I want to live my life deliberately and not learn when I come to die that I have not lived." It's just so basic, but it's so important. I mean, simply put, I want to live while I'm alive, then die and be done with it. Number 4, definition. Number 4, definition of success is individual and personal. Success is not always measured in dollars and cents. I've never measured my success by pounds of fish caught or numbers of books sold. The title of my first book, The Hungry Ocean, some of you may know, is from a Shakespearean sonnet. To me, the title refers to the ocean's ability to totally consume. I know it sounds cliche to say you're drawn to or taken with something, but I like the way I feel when I'm at sea. I am passionate about catching fish. So that feeling, the feeling of loving what you work at, is very fulfilling, and that fulfillment is my greatest success. Number 5, I believe that gender is not an issue. I want neither accolades nor condemnation with what I refer to as strings of gender attached. I don't want to be known as the first, only, best female anything. I'd like to be regarded as a great fisherman, a good writer, a decent person, a half-assed speaker. These are my accomplishments. Being female, I didn't have anything to do with that. That was just sheer luck. Not to beat that point to death, but this is an opportunity for me to redeem my mother by sharing with you the best advice I ever received. And I was very young, 7 or 8 years old, and we were having a clam bake down on the shore. And a big family deal, the whole clan's there, cousins, aunts, uncles, quite a few people. And my Aunt Sally was organizing all the children to do some chores. And she wanted all the little boys to go into the woods and get sticks or branches from trees and sharpen the ends with which to cook hot dogs and marshmallows over the open fire. She wanted the little girls to stay on the beach and set up a table or fold napkins or something. Well, being the tomboy that I still am, I had my jackknife in my pocket, and I headed straight for the woods with all my male cousins. And I was inches from a clean getaway. And my aunt yelled, "Linny, back here with the girls. You need to set this table." And I wasn't a crybaby as a kid, but I was kind of distraught about this whole girl thing at that point in my life. And I sat down on a rock and I started to cry. Well, my mother didn't hear what was going on. She comes over, she says, "What are you crying about? You have this big fun family day going on? What's wrong?" And I asked my mother, "Do I have to be a girl?" And she said, "No, you can be whatever you want to be." Since then, my world has been pretty okay. And I know that my mother has had many opportunities to regret that little pearl of wisdom, but it probably is the most simple and best advice that I can share with Gould Academy's graduating class of 2013. I mean, it's simple. You can do anything. I'm sure someone's already told you that. And that was number 5. I consider it a huge privilege and quite an honor to have the opportunity to wish you well. And it's sincere, it's heartfelt. Wah, wah, wah. Congratulations.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, our student-elected graduation speaker, Mr. James Rambone.
Welcome, Ms. Penley, Ms. Greenlaw, and Mr. Ruby. Family, friends, and especially my classmates. As a four-year senior at Gould, I've had the great privilege of being able to experience nearly all that Gould has to offer. The wide range of memories and experiences are so plentiful that I couldn't even begin to get past the tip of the iceberg. As a result of all these experiences, I have grown as a person, learned many valuable lessons that will benefit me and anyone who follows them for the rest of their lives, and developed or reinforced a core set of values. These values are ingrained into each and every one of us graduating here today. To commemorate the graduating class of 2013, and hopefully buck the trend of 13 being an unlucky number, similar to Ms. Greenlaw, I've written 13 of these lessons that apply to Gould life, college life, and real life. These lessons and values are in no particular order, and I assure you, I did not know that she was writing about 5 lessons that she had. So hopefully it's a matter of great minds thinking alike. 1, try as many new things as you possibly can. Throughout the last 4 years here, we have tried and completed as a class such a wide variety of activities that you would think our class was 5 times the size. We're flying halfway across the world to China, rock climbing, spending over a week in the woods in the dead of Maine winter, taking thousands of photos, participating in winter carnivals, mountain days, helping Somalian refugees, pulling pranks, plenty of them, launching rockets, and too many others to count. 2, it is important to work on being less focused on the end result. You can make gains and not have the conclusion work out as planned, and vice versa. 3, look for advice in everyone and anyone. A wide range of opinions will allow you to take the most balanced approach towards any given scenario. At the same time, hold true to your own beliefs and don't be afraid to make the unpopular decision if it is the one that is right or the one you feel is right. 4, there are plenty of rules that can be bent without necessarily being broken. Some of these rules at Gould, you can go to one assembly a week late. Normally, you don't have to tuck in your tails on flannels or button-up shirts. Sometimes teachers catch you. And lights out is generally more of a guideline at night, especially when you behave yourself up to that point. So in the future, we should learn to look where these exceptions are so we can bend the rules without necessarily breaking them. 5, whenever you're going to do something, go after it. Never give it half effort. It can be anything: that physics experiment, English paper, sports goal, musical passion, or hobby. Number 6, cook and write past number 5. Number 6, procrastination can be the death of us as students, workers, and throughout everyday life. Personally, this lesson strikes especially close to home, because if it can be procrastinated, I will find a way to do so. In regards to studying and projects, those who have pulled all-nighters in the last couple of years know the negative aspects of doing what I call taking your time. So let's try to keep this habit to a minimum in the future. 7, the ability to communicate with people face-to-face is one of the most important skills that you can have. Being quick on your feet while talking can pay double the dividends. You can use these skills to create conversation, meet new people, talk your way into things, and sometimes more importantly, talk your way out of things. Number 8, choosing a roommate is a much more complicated affair than it sounds. You have to look at study habits, cleanliness, in some cases lack thereof, similar interests, including sports, art, cooking, whether or not they'll be able to wake you up in the morning when you sleep through your alarm, or if that's going to be up to you, an overall attitude towards life in general. 9, take classes that are interesting to you and push you. Don't be worried about not doing well. Too often people are caught up in their grades. But after graduation, do you want to look back and say, I'm glad I got an A in chemistry, biology, or any other number of subjects, and remember very little or get very little out of the class? Or would you prefer to look at the world around you and understand a little bit more about what makes us as humans go, or how something works? Number 10, never take yourself too seriously. Try to be different and do things for yourself at times. When the time is right, joke around as much as possible, just not always at other people's expense. Don't be afraid to dress differently or try new things. Perfect example of this, earlier this year, I grew in a goatee. Wasn't the best look, but it is a humorous change of pace, I guess. Number 11, the ability to travel somewhere new is a gift, especially with friends. Anytime you can go somewhere, you do it. As Gould students, we are lucky enough to have had one of these trips given to us as freshmen, hopefully kicking off a lifelong passion for travel and a desire to understand new and different cultures. 12, sometimes the best way to focus on schoolwork is to give yourself a short break away from it. Going for a run, down to the gym, listening to music, playing an instrument, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just important to find that release in order to go back to your studies refreshed and ready to succeed. 13, last, and especially not least, networking is the most important thing you can do. Always be on the lookout for new connections. You never know how they can pay off in the long run. Gould has some amazing alums that can help you in the future, and you never know when one of your classmates can come in handy. These are just some of the lessons that will be beneficial to us as students and people throughout life after Gould. The future is bright, and even though it may not seem it now, I know that Gould has prepared us for a happy, successful life. Here we go, class of 13.
Ladies and gentlemen, our valedictory speaker, Ms. Yupong Lee.
Welcome, Ms. Greenlaw, Ms. Penley, Mr. Ruby, family, friends, and classmates. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Karen Lee. As a valedictorian, I'm standing here because my nerdy side is prominent. In fact, it is on the program. To get started, I have a small story about this nerdy side of me. When I was back in China, I was not who I am now, but more like a slacker. But as soon as I left my parents, I realized that I have to take full control of my life here. The nerdy part of me emerged. Here, I discovered I would really like to spend hours and hours doing work, and I enjoy most of them. So when Mr. Willington announced the valedictorian, I was not surprised, but somewhat confused. I called my mom and told her that I won an award, which basically means I'm a nerd, because I got the best GPA in the class. My mother was more nervous for me than excited, because she really worries that I'm going to push myself too hard academically and cross my limit and forgot to develop my social skills to deal with people. Well, I'm not worried. I got it. I do have my social life. I enjoy all sorts of activities in and outside classroom. I snowboard, I play music, and I'm a gamer. So it is fun to be nerdy sometimes. And now this nerd prize, which recognizes lots of hours of my hard work, also comes with the job of writing the speech. Some prize. This pointed me to some worthwhile reflections. First, always be true to yourself. Whether a nerd, a freestyle skier, an artist, or a filmmaker, we should all celebrate that special side of us. For me, people sometimes make jokes about my nerdy behaviors, but what's wrong with being a nerd? I do not want to live my life based on what those around me think I should be or do. You should not either. When we think about our future, we should not ask ourselves what do the world need, but ask what makes each and every one of us come alive. Every single one of us is a unique individual. and life's gonna be hard if we try to be somewhere else. Now, it comes my second reflection. That is, we all have to be realistic about what we are able to do. Through our years in Gould, all of us have more or less made some progress to overcome our own biggest enemy, whether laziness, impulsivity, or pressure. So today we are all ready to make a difference and ready to move on. Go find a limit. There are more things we are able to do if we are willing to try out. But also, we should not take things so seriously. Yes, we do have to devote ourselves in work, but only up to a point. Because if we do them too well, you may discover that your prize is really to deliver a speech. Anyway, congratulations class of 2013. I hope that after today, every single one of us can be true to ourselves, be realistic, and be proud.
Now we begin commencement awards. The Scholarship Shield was presented by the class of 1930, and on it is inscribed the name of our valedictorian, who is the top academic member of the senior class who has been at Gould for at least 2 years. As we all know, our valedictorian is Utong Karen Lee. Distinguished academic performance. I would like to acknowledge those seniors who have achieved a cumulative average of 90 or above for their years at Gould. Graduates, please stand and remain standing until all names have been called. Ushwen Yan. Margaret A.C. Cameron. Rim Choi. Kenzie A. Clark. Ella M. Dorval Hall. Carlson L. Giddings. Jillian C. Christie. Utong Lee. Jaime A. Romero Cardona. Avery S.S. Rossau. Molly M. Stichter. Aaron Wang. Shoyi Zhu. And Min Jae Yoon. The National Honor Society. This society is sponsored by the National Association of Secondary School Principals and created to encourage enthusiasm for scholarship, to stimulate a desire to render service, to promote worthy leadership and character, and membership is determined by vote of the faculty. Please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all names have been called. Kathleen E. Baker. Yan. Margaret A.C. Cameron. Rim Choi. Kenzie A. Clark. Courtney L. Polaluka. Naomi M. Cunningham. Yule D. Gardner. Carlson L. Giddings. Liam P. J. Gillis. Peter A. Hoops. Sadie T. James. Utah Quito. Jillian C. Christic. Shuang Kung. Yutong Lee. James N. Rambone. Eric A. Robachek. Aimee A. Romero Cardano. Avery S. S. Rasa. Molly M. Stichter. Arang Wang. And Min Jae Yoon. Now we move into the Academic Book Awards, and I'd like to invite Holly Tornrose, Chair of the English Department, to the stage to kick us off.
This year's English Book Award goes to a student who has a deep appreciation for novels and plays, and who especially enjoys poetry. Whether the work was originally composed in English, Spanish, or Russian, her enthusiasm for exploring the layers of meaning and the craft of the writer is striking. She has volunteered for countless hours as a tutor in the Writing Center over the last 3 years. On behalf of the English Department, it is an honor and a pleasure to present this year's book award to Margaret Cameron.
I'd like to thank James in reminding us that grades are not as important as passion or curiosity. And for me, the History Award this year goes to a young woman who, over the past 2 years, I think she's taken more history department courses than we've actually taught in the department. Sometimes I think she's been in my classroom more than I'm actually there. This past year as a senior, she took 4 courses: government, philosophy, psychology, what else? Debate. An amazing student, a very special young woman, Naomi Cunningham.
Working with some really wonderful seniors this year, and I'd like to thank them all for it. The Math Book Award goes to a young woman who's been working above and beyond the level of high school mathematics for quite some time. It's been an honor and privilege to work with her, and that's Henry.
Present on behalf of the Science Department the Science Senior Book Prize to someone who's just amazing, if you can leave it at that, Kenzie A. Clark.
So, this particular individual has been part of the Gould community for a while now. He has taken every class offered in the computer science department and even made up a few of his own. I also want to announce that as of today, I mean, he refers to me as captain whenever he sees me. So officially today, I would like to promote Avery Rossau to the rank of captain.
The recipient of this year's French Book Award is a diligent and responsible student who will never stop before she has complete understanding of the material at hand. On behalf of the whole department, I wish her the very best in her continuing studies. This year's Book Award winner in French goes to Kenzie Clark. A wonderful student and scholar with a dynamic personality, he has developed a creative voice in Spanish over the course of his Gould education. On behalf of the Department of World Languages, I wish him the very best as he pursues his studies at the next level. The Spanish Book Award goes to Z. Christie.
I am proud to offer 2 book awards in the area of performing arts. Firstly, in the area of technical theater, goes to a young man who, frankly, I'm not sure what I'm going to do without him, because he pretty much runs the shop and everything that goes on behind the stage. Professionally, very talented in this area. Avery Rossau. The Senior Book Award for Theater goes to a young man who is always on stage. I think everyone knows who that is. Zillion Christic.
Hello. On behalf of the art department, I am proud to present the Senior Art Award to someone who is very passionate about what he does. He loves to work with his hand. He's articulate. He has given so much to the school with his art. You'll see it all around campus. And that is Abraham King. The Rhode Island School of Design President's Award. Rhode Island School of Design established its annual art award in 1984. Each year, a select number of secondary schools with noteworthy programs in the visual arts are invited by RISD's president to nominate an accomplished artist from the senior class to receive this distinction. Teachers are asked to consider several criteria in making their nomination,
including the students' effort and achievement in the arts, their overall academic achievement, and their creativity and talent. This year, I am proud to announce that Yuxuan Lynette Bien is the recipient. The Art Department Purchase Award. Each spring, the Art Department hangs the student exhibition. I hope you've all seen it. Representing the strongest work completed during the school year. In 1987, we began a new tradition. One piece representing the year's accomplishments has been selected by the Art Department and faculty and has been purchased from the artist. It will be permanently displayed at the school. The Art Department Purchase Award for 2012 is for 2013. It says 2012 on here. Okay. At least I'm paying attention. It's presented to Caitlin Deck.
Forgot my glasses today. I found these in my truck. So Z, no comments about my lack of style. Okay. The Ralph Gould Music Award. Awarded to the graduating senior for improvement, excellence, and contribution to the school in the area of music. The Ralph Gould Music Award consists of a token gift and an invitation to select and present to the Academy some object relevant and useful in academic or extracurricular music. The recipient of the award this year is a young man who apparently has gained a skill in standing while he sings on a chair. It goes to Johnny Drew.
I have the privilege of presenting two Outstanding Senior Athlete Awards. These awards, the Joe Roderick Award for boys and the Francis High Berry Award for girls, recognizes a senior boy and girl for outstanding competitive spirit through example and overall competence in athletics. This year, the Francis High Berry Award goes to Ella Dorval Hall. Joe Roderick Award for boys to Blake Wilson. I also have the honor of presenting the Gould Academy Alumni Association Award. The Alumni Award is presented by vote of the faculty to a student whose son or daughter, grandson or granddaughter of a Gould Academy alumnus or alumna, and who best reflects the high standards of the Gould Academy Alumni Association, and this school's motto, "To thine own self be true." The award this year is presented to Naomi Cunningham.
Senior 4-point. Everybody does a project, everybody wins. That should be it. But this person who's going to win the award today, it just continues. What he does, it just keeps going on. It's not just something he did for 40 hours. It is his life. awarded to the senior whose project best exemplifies the three values at the heart of any Gould endeavor: the energy to try, the willingness to risk, and the capacity to tolerate. The award is presented to C. Chris.
Jan and Lorenzo Baker devoted 35 years to Gould Academy, challenging students to be courageous and open to the world around them. Art Department Chair Jan Baker inspired students to explore new perspectives and techniques for artistic expression. Dean of Community Life Lorenzo Baker helped students become strong individuals and leaders within their community. The Jan and Lorenzo Baker Award is bestowed upon a member of the senior class who best exemplifies the qualities that the Bakers fostered: personal courage, an adventurous and creative approach, and a clear vision of him or herself and their world. I am pleased to announce that the very first Jan and Lorenzo Baker Award goes to Courtney L. Colaluca.
The Owinga Citizenship Award, named for Dr. Marvin T. Owinga, history teacher at Gould for 30 years, and his wife, Tinaka Owinga, French teacher for 30 years. This scholarship is awarded to a member of the Gould student body who embraces the spirit in which both the Owingas live their lives through acts of selflessness and thoughtful humanitarianism. The recipient of the Owinga Citizenship Award is Caitlin Deck. The Annie Daly Porshane Award. This award in memory of Annie Daly Porshane, class of 1986, and celebrates the spirit of student involvement in social, political, and environmental causes. The award is in two parts: a monetary contribution to a cause which Annie believed in and worked for, and an inscribed cup presented to a Gould Academy student who reflects Annie's determination to make the world a better place. The recipient of the award this year is Carly Giddings.
The Lindy Lowell Award. Lindy Lowell worked maintenance at Gould Academy for over 30 years, always with a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand for anyone in need. By vote of the senior class, the Lindy Lowell Award is given to that member of the senior class whose friendly personality and helpful nature has brightened the lives of his or her fellow students in the Gould community. I am pleased to announce, by vote of her class, that this year's recipient is Courtney L. Colaluca.
The Melmac Principal Scholarship. This $1,500 scholarship is awarded to a graduating senior who has made a difference in the lives of others and that of his or her community. A solid citizen involved in extracurricular activities, a student who has exhibited a commitment to public service, an individual with the potential to make a difference in the world. This year's recipient is Carly Giddings. Remain Award. The town of Newry presents a monetary gift to each of the graduating seniors who are full-time residents. This year's recipient is Blake C. Wilson. The Elwood F. Ireland Award. The late Elwood F. Ireland, headmaster of Gould Academy from 1940 to 1959, created an award upon his retirement which went to the boy and girl of the senior class who exemplify service, leadership, and character. I'm pleased to announce that by faculty vote, the award goes this year to Caitlin T. Deck and Tyler J. Jen. The Headmaster's Bowl, awarded to the senior who has exhibited the highest standards of scholarship, character, and service to the school and participation in activities of the school. This year's recipient, Kenzie Clark. It is now our great pleasure to grant the 2013 academic diplomas. Butong Lee. Kathleen Elizabeth Baker. Yu Bao. Nicholas Robert Beauregard. Blake Esty Dijon. Yuchuen Bien. Nathaniel Olcott Brown. Margaret Alice Chase Cameron. Haoming Chen. Rim Choi. Kenzie Avery Clark. Kolaluka. Naomi May Cunningham. Ashton Linwood Cushman. Caitlin Thibodeau Deck. Ella Mariah Dorval Paul. John Harold Drew. Yinan Fung. Yule Douglas Gardner. Carlson Lily Giddings. Liam Paul Joseph Gillis. Jinsu Kuo. Hayden Robert Olsher. Peter Alexander Hoops. Jacob Harlan Davis Irish. Sadie Thorndike James. Tyler Joseph Jandrin. Junwong Jung. Moon Kang. Shannon Marie Kelleher. Timothy Douglas Kindle Lehman. Sipanan Kitimun. Utah Quito. Jillian Christian Christick. Wang Kung. Robert Barkok Malani. Jigu Lee. Natalia Maria Portuando. Eric Adams Robacek. Carolina Rodriguez. Jaime Andres Romero Cardona. Philip Hunter Beauvais Rosenthal. Avery Shane Santos Rasa. Jason Zaney Rubenfield. Catherine Margaret Scott. Woji Shi. Paul Joseph Stieber III. Molly McMaster Stichter. Aron Wan. Jack Chrisman Wells. Evan Peter Wilson Wild. Blake Charles Wilson. Siyu Wu. Zhouyi Xu. Min Jae Yoon. Mrs. Penley, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the Gould Academy Class of 2013.
Ended, but let the echoes of joy keep sounding in your hearts. Schooling here is ended, but let the pursuit of wisdom keep enlarging your hearts. Childhood is ended, but let dreams of a new world keep luring your hearts. For all that has ended, let there be remembrance and thanksgiving. Everything that ends is but the seed of new beginnings. Blessings on all that now begins. Amen.
One is going to England.